Hello, Sonder fam. Welcome to this wonderful Sonder Social. We get to do journal prompts. Yeah, 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 yeah. I love journal prompt socials. For those of you who do not know, my name is Bailey Grady, and I will be your facilitator today. I am dialing in from Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville, and it is very windy here. Maya and I were who is also here with me tonight in the chat. Hi, make sure to say hi to Maya. She and I were chatting before the event, and in the middle of us chatting, I was like, hold on a second, something is going on outside, and like my deck furniture was moving around. Like, thankfully, it's just a good old thunderstorm, no crazy tornadoes or anything expected, but very windy outside here today. But I'm excited to be here with all of you this evening. If you have not been to a social in a while, or if this is your first one, or maybe this is your first like journal prompt social, let us know in the chat. But we're basically going to go through tonight and we'll have a fun opening activity we'll do together, and then we'll dive into prompts, and we'll kind of just be taking some time to put that pen to the paper in your journal and also spend some time in community and connect with each other and support one another here. So in order to do that, you will want to make sure that your chat is set to everyone. You'll notice like I'm seeing lots of like first timers here or haven't been here in a while. So welcome, welcome. So excited for you all. I also saw some very familiar names in the chat. So you are in good hands here tonight. Really good group here. But you'll notice like your camera's not on. You don't have to worry of whether or not you're muted. Like feel free to come in your comfy clothes exactly as you are, exactly as you want to be at this time of the day, because I will be the only one that is on camera. And the way that you communicate with each other during this time is by communicating in that chat. But you do want to make sure that that chat box is set to everyone. If it is set to host and panelist, only myself and Maya will be able to see what you have to share. And if you just want to send something to us, that's fine. We like to see what you have to say. But most of the time you want to share with the broader group. So just make sure that it is set to everyone if you have something you want to share with everybody here. And as we go through, feel free to take screenshots, snap photos, jot down notes, whatever makes you happy. We are going to be kind and courteous to ourselves and to others while we're here together tonight. We're going to refrain from any promotions or spam. Of course, we're going to respect everyone's privacy here, and we do not tolerate any hate speech or bullying. And if you would try to limit like repetitive product and accessory questions, we don't mind a little bit of chatter around that. Obviously, everybody's got like their favorite pens and stickers and things like that, or you may have a question about something that somebody else here has tried. But we do want to make the most of our time together. And if there is anything you have a question about that myself or Maya cannot assist with, we're going to direct you over to hello@silkensonder.com, which is the team over at headquarters. Maya and I do not have access to any headquarter things. We don't have access to like your subscriptions or your address. If your journal got blown away in all the storms last week, unfortunately, we don't have a way to look into that, but they can help you out with anything we can't help with. And then finally, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. But you are responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions, and especially at a journal prompt social, but at any social really. If there's ever anything that comes up, or if we're ever like engaging with a journal prompt that just doesn't sit right with you in that particular moment, maybe it brings up some unexpected feelings, or like some tough memories, and you're like, I'm just not ready to engage with this today. That's okay. Just because we are on a topic together does not mean that you have to do that topic right now. If something like that comes up, feel free to just hang out, chill, relax, do something different, maybe spend some time on your coloring page, just listen to the music, hang out in the chat, and before you know it, we'll be moved on to the next thing, and maybe that will be more in your comfort zone for the day. Likewise, this is always participate at your own comfort. So while we do encourage you to share with each other in the chat because we have the most amazing community here, if you're here just for some you time and you just want to focus on you and your journal, that is okay too. This is your time that you have set aside for yourself. So please take whatever it is you need. So like I said, we're going to do an opening activity together. And then we're going to do our journaling prompt on page 14, and then we're going to do the unblocking procrastination exercise on page 16. So our opening activity tonight, oh, just kidding. I got ahead of myself. I'm actually really excited for our opening activity. That's what it is. It uses one of our poems. You all might have seen my post in Sonder Club, so I'm pretty excited to get to it. But we obviously have to talk about our theme for the month, which is authenticity. It's such a great theme. I definitely think it's what I would call a bigger theme because it's just a big topic in the sense that authenticity may be one of the most important things that we can give to ourselves. Um, and there's a lot of different quotes up on the screen. There's 2 quotes up there from Brene Brown because she has done so much work with authenticity research. And so if you Google authenticity quote, it's gonna pull up something from Brene Brown. So there are 2 from her up there. But I do want to point out in the bottom left corner, that little one that says authenticity is magnetic, fake is exhausting. And I cross out fake and put masking because I think the word fake sort of insinuates that we're trying to be inauthentic. And I just don't think that that's true. I think most of us would like to be our authentic, true selves into every place and space that we walk into. But it's just not always possible depending on a variety of factors, right? Being truly authentic, requires a lot of vulnerability, and sometimes it requires a little bit of bravery, right? Of being the first one to open up or being the first one to kind of speak your mind and test the waters, and you don't know how people are going to react or what kind of response that's going to elicit. And it's just not possible to do that all the time, right? Um, and so in a perfect world, I think that we could easily make that choice between being our authentic selves 100% of the time and anything else is just fake. But I just don't think that that's realistic. I think realistically, there are times where we just can't fully let go for whatever reason. And sometimes the reason is us, right? Sometimes we have work that we need to do on ourselves and things that we need to work through and process to get to a place where we feel good about it. So it's not always you'll never be authentic in that space, right? It's just we're all on a different journey and we all have to kind of decide in each individual moment what feels right to us. So as you are exploring authenticity tonight, definitely know that if there are times when you don't feel like you can be fully yourself, that's totally normal and it happens, and we're here for you. So we are going to start with our opening activity. My authentic truth is that, like I said, I'm very excited because we get to use a poem. We always have 1 or 2 pages in the journals that kind of spotlight poetry. And I always think it's really nice, but I also think that they get kind of overlooked a lot because they're not activities, right? And so on page 17, we have this lovely poem that says, "It was when I stopped searching for home within others and lifted the foundations of home within myself. I found that there were no roots more intimate than those between a mind and a body that have decided to be whole." And I just think it's lovely, and it definitely deserves its own spotlight page in the journal, so I'm glad it's there. But I thought it would be fun to maybe try to do some different journal prompts around this poem. So you have a little bit of a choose your own adventure tonight. There are 2 prompts up on the screen. You can choose to do one, you can choose to do them both, whatever speaks to you right now in this moment. Do one now, do one later. But the first option is the "what are your roots" option. And if you go with that one, you're going to ask yourself, what self-care practices help to ground you to who you are? And do those build the connection between your mind and body? And how can you nurture them to strengthen your sense of self? And then the other option is the craft your inner home. So with that prompt, you can imagine your inner self as a home. What does it look like? How does it reflect your authentic identity? Describe, draw, or find images that reflect what you imagine. And you may have multiple inner homes depending on the day. That is totally okay. Our personalities are multifaceted, and that is an authentic part of who we are. And so on some days, you may want a cozy space that feels authentic to you and your mood for that day. And other times it might look like exploration out in the great wide wander, right? So I these are my like root activities, the things that help me kind of like connect back to myself. Meditation, I do like a little stress check-in with myself. I just started doing that a couple weeks ago, and that is very intentional to try to bridge the gap between my mind and my body and try to make them kind of check in with each other a little bit more. I do a replenishment tracker. I change my mood tracker to a replenishment tracker, and I track all those different activities there because those are things that I believe replenish my energy and fill me back up. And energy is a big thing for me when it comes to sort of like mind body health. If I feel tired, if I feel spent, if my energy is running low, it doesn't do good things for my mind or my body. So trying to pour back into that and just sharing interests with others. It's not necessarily a self-care activity, but it is definitely an activity that I do when I'm in a safe space with my people, right? Where I feel like I can really be my authentic self. And I think we all feel that way, right? When we can like really share openly about the things we love or that we're passionate about, and other people like receive that and engage with it. It always kind of helps to build that connection and kind of reassures your mind and body that like, oh yeah, like this is a fun thing and it's not just me and other people are into it too. And obviously you want to get to a place where you can provide that kind of encouragement with yourself, but it never hurts to share with others and understand that you're kind of not alone in your little hobbies and interests and things, right? It's community building in a way. And then for crafting inner home, my current inner home, authentic self, is a cozy, sunny bedroom with kitties and all my favorite games and things I've always loved, like my favorite stories from like childhood, whether it's, fairy tales or, different books and things. Anything related to those favorite stories is where my perfect inner authentic self home is currently. Because I think a lot of those stories and things are kind of a foundation of the person I am today. It all starts pretty early, right? So that is how I answered these. I will kind of hop back and forth here for you all. Again, feel free to do both of these prompts or one, or do one now and do later. It is whatever is speaking to you. If you feel comfortable sharing in the chat what you're putting down, we would love to see what you have to say. And I will put on some music for us before we move into our next activity. Thank you all for spending some time with these two prompts. It was really cool to see some of you picking one or picking the other or deciding to do both. I also know a few people said like, ooh, I may need some more time to like dive into this. So no worries. Feel free to come back to this later. We'll share a link at the end too. This session is recorded, so you can go back and watch the recordings, but also feel free to snap a screenshot as well of what is up on the screen there too. But I'm glad that you all engaged with this and had some fun. I thought it was kind of a cool way to incorporate that poem. So thanks for I was gonna what am y'all, sometimes my ADHD is really on point and sometimes it makes me forget words. Humoring me. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you for humoring me and engaging with this. So there you go. There's your authentic moment with me and my ADHD. So we are now going to hop into our journals and flip over to our journal prompts on page 14. So we're going to be taking this kind of prompt by prompt here on the screen. So we'll go through one, I'll put on some music for you, and then you can kind of share in the chat if you like, if you feel comfortable. And then we'll come back and then go to the next one and then put on some more music. So that's kind of how the flow is going to work here. But all of these prompts here are inviting us to kind of explore authenticity a little bit more. And our first prompt here is asking us to reflect on the impact of being genuine in your relationships. How does it influence communication, trust, and overall connection? So what I wrote on my little page here, don't worry, you don't have to read my chicken scratch there. I'll read it to you. But it said, being open and fully honest with those closest to me, even if it means sharing tough thoughts and feelings, allows me to connect deeply with others and understand them better. It provides clarity and creates an open space for us to share with one another. It creates an environment with less judgment, more trust, genuine support, and unconditional acceptance. Especially with my anxiety, opening up and being honest is critical for my mental well-being, even if it isn't received as expected 100% of the time. So there are some good quotes and things up on the screen there, as well as some other kind of questions to maybe get your wheels turning here, like what doors can authenticity open? What barriers can it break down? Have you met people or found new hobbies or explored new places after showing up as your genuine self? I know I've had that experience before where, kind of like we talked about earlier, I was the first one to kind of like take a leap and like share, oh, I kind of like this weird nerdy thing, or I kind of feel this way about it and I know that's not popular. And then everybody else is like, oh my gosh, me too, right? And so sometimes it's nice to, when you do like take that risk and open up and be yourself, you find out that you're not alone. So I will put on some music for you to think about this prompt. Share in the chat with us what comes up for you if you feel comfortable. And then we'll move into our next prompt on the page. Thank you all for spending some time with this prompt. Anne just dropped something in the chat where they said, I'm learning that not everyone deserves to know who you truly are. And it's really interesting that you say that, Anne, because you might see something along those lines come up in my responses here in a little bit. So I feel you. I feel you. So we're going to hop into our middle prompt on the page here. So this one is asking us to identify the challenges that prevent us from being our true self. These could be internal fears, societal pressures, or specific situations. So what I said is these days I do a pretty good job of showing up authentically, but there are some exceptions. I am not conflict averse, but I don't like conflict without a purpose. I also don't like giving energy to others who I know won't return the effort. There are also certain situations or environments where I do feel societal pressure to be a less than version of myself. Smaller, quieter, less vibrant, less weird or goofy or whimsical or whatever word you want to use. But I'm working on that. And I think that I like the little kind of graphic thing in the top left where it says, life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has different questions to answer. Do you ever second guess yourself or your choices? Why? Are there experiences from your past that keep you from your true self now? When you want to be authentically you, what stops you? All of those are things that you should ponder. And I also love the flower does not compete with the next flower, it just blooms. But yeah, I think that, there are certain spaces where, unfortunately, sometimes being our authentic self may kind of I guess like butt heads with somebody else's authentic version of themselves, right? Like we just don't always align with one another as human beings, and that's okay. Not everybody is going to be everybody else's cup of tea, and it just means that that's not the person or the place or the space for you, right? And that's okay. And it's okay to decide to hold back a part of yourself because you are choosing to not share that portion of yourself, right? You're like, no, I'm okay. I know who I am and I'm confident who I am and I feel good about it and I love who I am, but I don't feel the need to share that with this group of people or this space or in this environment. Doesn't change who I am, right? It's just how I want to spend my time and my energy. And I don't think that that's being authentic. I think that that is making a choice, and that choice is very authentic to you and yourself. So but definitely spend some time thinking about this middle prompt and let us know what can be difficult, what kind of like stops you, what gets in your way, and share if you feel comfortable. And then we'll go back into our next prompt. Wrong button. So much really good, honest sharing happening in the chat. And I love that. And I feel so honored that you all are here with us and that you are willing to share because this is like a tough thing to dive into because like authenticity is a big topic. And the reason it's a big topic is because for a variety of reasons, we don't always feel like we can be our authentic selves, or we're having to do a lot of personal work on things that have happened in the past that have, maybe tried to like teach us that being our authentic self isn't good because these bad things happen or we experience these other negative reactions, right? And that is so real. And it's something that I think all of us have struggled with at some point in our lives. I think if you haven't, you're incredibly fortunate. Like, tell me your secret. How did you get out unscathed? And so I just really appreciate all of you being open and being willing to share with one another because as we can kind of see, we all have kind of similar things that we've gone through. It might be like completely different when you get down into the details, but so many of us have felt rejected or othered or not safe, right? And I think that kind of like we talked about at the very beginning and like what Anne was pointing out and Bridget was chiming in, I know as well, is, part of being authentic is feeling empowered to make the choice about when and where you share those parts of yourself. And I think once you see it from an empowerment place and you see it from a choice rather than something that's being thrust upon you because of someone else, that's where it really starts to change and feel different, right? If you're being your authentic self because you're being forced to be something else by someone else, that's icky. But if you're choosing to kind of hold back part of yourself because that's your personal choice in that moment, then that's you making that choice and that's empowerment and that's a totally different feeling. So anywho, we're going to hop down to our last prompt on this nice deep page of ours here, right? And write about a positive changes that could occur in your life by embracing authenticity and considering the impact on your self-esteem, relationships, and overall well-being, right? Oh, Maya is saying that my audio is weird. Let me try to mute and unmute. Is it better? Do I still sound like a robot? Is everything okay? Not better. Wait, not better or no more robot? Not better. Okay. Some people are, it sounds like jingling. That's so odd. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna continue and then once I put the music back on, I'll try something different since it seems like some people have some and some people don't. But what I've written for this part is I think that part of being my authentic self includes choosing the places and people where I feel comfortable doing so. Authenticity is a gift, and not everywhere everyone deserves to know all of my deepest facets. I'm allowed to protect my energy. Doing so is part of my authentic self. However, in times where I would be most comfortable as myself, but I hold back because of shoulds, assumptions, or potential thoughts of others, I want to free myself to be more me. Doing so would lower my anxiety in the long run and could give me more energy to enjoy life. And we've got some good quotes and things up on the screen. So I'm going to put on some music and then I'm going to grab some headphones with a microphone to see if that fixes all of this. But please share in the chat what's coming up for you, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, I have a headset, so I don't know if this is gonna fix the weird audio some of you are having, but hopefully so. Oh yay, good. Perfect, yay. So thank you all so much for sharing. I feel like we kind of really came full circle with this page. It kind of like could not have worked out better with just kind of everything that you all are saying. And again, it's just one of the best parts of socials is that we get to kind of sit and do these things together. And like you can clearly see that like we're all very different, right? And we all are on different journeys and going through different things and we have different experiences, but also we clearly all have kind of got the same mindset about a lot of things. And it's super nice to be in an environment where people are open and willing to share and be there like that, because if you weren't, we would never know. So thank you all so much for spending time with this page. We are now going to hop over to page 16 with this unblocking procrastination exercise. So this is a good one for me because I am a huge procrastinator. So I actually decided to do more than one. You do not have to do more than one. You could just do one thing for this page, or you can be like me and do more than one, whatever floats your boat. Because I definitely am a procrastinator. So this is a really good exercise for me. But we're going to break this one down into different parts as well. And we're going to start with the first two boxes here on page 16. So, first, what is the task you're avoiding doing? So, for me, it's always laundry. I specifically putting the clothes away. Here is evidence. Here I'm sharing my authentic self with all of you, the evidence of my laundry. All of that laundry is clean that my cat is sitting on. It needs to be put away. It was finally put away earlier this week after I did this exercise. But it's true. I struggle to put away the clean laundry. I also have been putting off these like Microsoft Office courses that I like paid money for literally 2 or 3 years ago now. Maybe even longer. It might have been during COVID, guys. It's been a long time. But because there was no time limit on when I had to complete the courses, I have not started them. So those are the things I'm putting off. And then it's asking us to describe the moment when you're tempted to avoid completing the task. So with laundry, the moment is, ugh, I don't want to. I think it will take too long and my allergies will go crazy and I will be tired when I'm finished. And the Microsoft Office, it feels overwhelming, like it will take me forever and I won't like it or understand or be able to use it for anything at work soon enough. So that is how I've answered these two boxes. I'm going to give you some time to think about this. And if you're stuck a little bit, like check out this little why you procrastinate bubble. Something may kind of pop up for you there when you're reflecting on that. Thank you all for taking some time here with these first two boxes. If you're still working, that's okay. Don't worry. Don't panic. We're not going too far. Oh, well, there we go. I'm not sure why I decided to do that. Zoom is just playing tricks on us tonight, y'all. Anyways, we're going to hop down to our second section here, still on page 16. And this time looking at what are the benefits of avoiding the task? Because sometimes there are benefits, right? There's a reason that you procrastinate. Like there is something in our brains that happens, and it could be a multiple somethings. Like there is a reason we are avoiding task, right? So what is the benefits of avoiding the task? So for laundry, I get to do something else or rest and enjoy my time at home, and I don't have to eat up my time with laundry. And with the office courses, kind of similar, more time to do other things I want or need to do. And then what are the benefits of doing this task? For the laundry, it's done. It's so much easier to find clothes for work or trips. Everything feels more clean and organized, and I feel relieved that it's over. And then with the office courses, eventually I think I will learn things that will make my job easier, which will give me more work-life balance. So those are my benefits of doing and not doing. I will put on some music for you all to think about what your benefits of doing or not doing might be. Share with us in the chat what comes up for you. And like the song that we're listening to says, no judgment here. Thank you all for spending some time with us. As I was watching you all share, and I was kind of like seeing so many of us are like, yeah, I get to spend my time doing other stuff, other things I really want to do. I kind of had a realization, which is that I have been a lot more productive and I have not procrastinated quite as bad since I started doing that replenishment tracker. And I think it's because on the days where I feel like I didn't get to spend any time on myself, I get to kind of look at that tracker and go, oh, actually, I did. Actually, I did like read, I did listen to my podcast. So, like, even though I'm tired and even though it was a long day, I did actually get to do some things that were just for me. And I think that that's kind of been helpful. So, those of you that were thinking about trying that out, you'll have to let me know if it helps with your procrastination. And speaking of helping with procrastination, the final box on our page here is what can you do to make completing this task 10 times easier? So for laundry, I said I can use the Pomodoro technique to get started. And the Pomodoro technique is there in the center of the screen for those of you who may not have seen it before. I can try to put clothes away as they get done instead of waiting them to pile up, although I think Groot will be very sad to lose his fluffy laundry bed. And I can listen to an audiobook. So I still feel like I'm getting to do something I like while I'm doing the laundry, which I do not like. And then for the Microsoft Office stuff, I can schedule a set amount of time each week to work on the courses. I can celebrate when I complete like a full program, like a big portion of the course. And then I can make my office tidy and inviting with a nice drink and candle so it feels less like work and more like me time, like I'm doing something for myself. But there are some kind of interesting things up on the screen, like this little graphic about busting procrastination and ways to overcome procrastination. And then again, that Pomodoro technique that I think Maya, I think you're actually the one who introduced the Pomodoro technique to me at some point during like a weekly social. And it is super duper helpful, especially if you have ADHD like me, executive dysfunction. Yay. The Pomodoro technique is super helpful for that. So, I'll put on another song for us here, share what you are going to do to try to make this 10 times easier, and then we'll close out our time together. Thank you all so much for spending some time with us. I hope you've got some ideas to help you try to tackle that thing, whatever that thing is that you've been putting off. And, I just want to acknowledge that, like, doing something new that you put off a lot, it can be hard. And sometimes it's really hard because, like, you'll get really motivated to do it once. And then the next time it comes back around to do it again, you're like completely demotivated all over again. And you're like, dang, the thing I tried before isn't working now. What am I supposed to do? Just give yourself grace, right? It takes time and not everything is going to work 100% of the time, right? Like sometimes when you're really tired, you're just tired and you just need to rest and the thing needs to wait for another day. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that it won't work the next day. Just try to be patient with yourself, try different things, notice what works, notice what doesn't. It's a little bit of trial and error with some of that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, just be patient with yourself. We're all doing so much nowadays, and there's so much coming at us, no matter what life looks like for you. So just give yourself a break every now and then, too. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I absolutely loved this time together. Um, we kind of talked, or I guess I mentioned it in the chat earlier tonight, but the personalized coaching platform, the 24/7 live chat, actually helped me out a little bit with creating that first opening activity that we did. So that was super cool to share with you all. And if you're interested in learning more, they are doing another kind of live demo to kind of show the personalized coaching platform and all the things that it can do and how it can help with things like procrastination. So if you're interested, they are doing that next Thursday. And Maya's going to be throwing some things and links into the chat for you all. My playlist tonight is just my big huge, giant Sonder Social master list. It's got like 22 hours of songs on it now, which is crazy. But I will throw it into the chat. Please feel free to steal anything you like out of there to make your own playlist or follow it if you ever need 22 hours of journaling, music, and fun. But we had such a good time with all of you this evening, and we really appreciate you all being here and taking this time for yourself. Until next time, be good to each other, and we'll see you all in Sonder Club.
Hands in the breeze, grass on my knees. Oh, what a gift, letting my body be free. I know what I need, a jump in the sea. No more regrets, I'm letting my body be free. From my birth to my grave, every step I've taken, my body came. Through the joy and the pain, we dance in the river, we sing in the rain. My body, oh, through me and of me. Oh God, what an honor to see her, to know her, to love her. Roots growing in acne-prone skin. Sometimes it's hard, like in the body I'm in. But it takes care of me. Through it I breathe. Oh, what a gift it is, being soft, being seen. From my birth to my grave, every step I've taken, my body came. Through the joy and the pain, we dance in the river, we sing.